of May. Good grief, we're halfway through the year already. Halfway towards Christmas. Love it. So much closer to my favorite time of the year, which is basically the end of September up until probably the end of January. Because I'm bizarre like that. I love the winter. I love the long, dark nights. I love the holiday seasons. I love Halloween, Thanksgiving, wedding anniversaries, Christmas, all that fun stuff. Anyway, hope you're well. Thank you for joining. I am indeed, as usual, Marcus Beer. This is Friday with Beer because it's on a Friday and I'm the beer. Get it? Oh, works on so many levels. I have my cup of Earl Grey with me. And it's freshly brewed and a little hot. So if you are in the chat room, say hi. If you're in the Twitch chat room, or if you're watching on the YouTubes or even watching on Restream, say hi. And we're going to talk about a lot of things today. Things we are going to cover. The Far Cry 6 announcement, the Horizon Forbidden West announcement, the PlayStation versus Xbox, which console's best brouhaha that's kicked off in the media over the last couple of days based on a couple of tweets and an opinion piece or two. We're going to talk about Footy. The Champions League final is tomorrow. The Uefa Cup Final was on Wednesday, and obviously last weekend we had in the UK, in the English Premier League, which is the one I follow. I mean, obviously Atleti won, Bayern Munich won their respective leagues. Was it Inter Milan? I think won their league. But yeah, we had the fascinating battle for two spots in the Champions League with three teams going for it, and obviously we'll talk about that. I'm generally going to wait until Ray Padilla, and the RP Genius drop in because obviously they are fellow footy fans. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some TV. Have you watched Invincible yet? Oh, what a lovely show that is. It's on Amazon Prime. It's an animated series. It's on Amazon Prime here in the US. And it's really gory superhero movie based on apparently a great comic book, which I have to dig up. And it's just, season one's just finishing. Binge it from all the way through, and I recommend it. Star-studded cast. I mean, really top-notch vocal talent. Some of the best I've ever seen in an animated series. So yes, that's one to watch. Lucifer came back this morning, or late last night, on Netflix. The final, I think, 6 episodes of the season. It's funny, I've been waiting for this for a long time. Love the series, as you all know. Tom Ellis, Welshman, Devil. I mean, it's, we're a nation of devils, and we do it so well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that. And of course, the Friends reunion. Now, I have confessed this before. I'm a fan of the show Friends. I have been, I started watching it in the 90s when it first came out. And look, what's not to like if you're a, young-ish person, as I was. Was it 1994 when it came out? I was like 24, 23. And, I'd watch it and then go out and get drunk. And I loved it. We watched it on streaming, rewatched the series. It's a great time capsule. For that time, reminds me of a great time when I was living in London, and then when I moved to the US, my early years there, and the fun I had as a 20-something going into my 30s. So obviously, it's been 17 years since that show ended, and HBO Max dropped the long-awaited Friends reunion, which was supposed to air last year, but didn't because of, some sort of pandemic-y type thing, for which the 6 main protagonists were paid a rumored $2.5 million a pop to participate. And a lot of hype, a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people trashing it. And I think a lot of the people trashing it were doing it unfairly, but it wasn't perfect. Some of it was fun. Obviously, there were cringeworthy segments, most of them involving James Corden, who James Corden I've loved as a co-creator of Gavin and Stacey. Great character as Smithy in that show. His chat show, kind of hit and miss. Carpool Karaoke is obviously fun, but then he started to sort of become a little annoying. And I think my friends in the UK will back me up. I mean, they had to put up with him long before we did here in the US, and he kind of outstayed his welcome because he turned up in everything, shoehorned himself into everything. So yes, his stuff in the Friends Reunion was kind of cringeworthy, shitty interview questions, softballs, horrible fashion show they had with like the old costumes, these bizarre talking head segments with the likes of David Beckham and people around the world. And it seemed like a wasted 2-hour opportunity. If you're going to do this, first of all, make it about the cast and the people who made it. Cast and the crew, the creators. That's it. The fact that they had the likes of Elliot Gould and Christina Pickles, who are the Geller parents, for like 90 seconds, sitting out in a fucking cold amphitheater for this, as opposed to a sit-down interview. Really quite ridiculous. A couple of the characters that they had, as recurring characters who came and did real cameos, like Tom Selleck. And where was the interview with him? Why didn't the show was really good when it was reminiscing, and they showed some of the bloopers, they showed some of the outtakes, and they talked about the stuff that they went through. And it would have been great to see more of that. Now, I know a lot of people probably like Friends, fuck that. And, hey, you're entitled to. But it's something I was looking forward to, and something I've kind of been, it's half-cocked. I would love to see them do a proper set of interviews. Maybe they've got outtakes and stuff to really redo it without James Corden and fashion shows and stupid shit, and just, give people some closure. But anyway, that came out yesterday. If you are a fan of the show, you should watch it. I mean, there's some really amusing stuff in there. And it goes to show that we all get old, but some of us don't do Botox. Some of it was a little bit scary, but there you go. That's what happens. We all get old. Hey, Zach. Hey, Carlos. Hello, everybody else in the chat room. Say hi. I hope you're all doing good. Touch wood, the internet will hold up today. It looks like we have fixed the problem. I don't know what the problem was, but by some weird fluke, we seem to be on a perfectly good stream and have been for a couple of days now. Touch wood. So let us talk about Far Cry 6. So Ubisoft dropped Far Cry 6's trailer, and there's some in-depth gameplay. I watched it this morning, and I can't help it. I'm a Far Cry fan. I am absolutely a fan of Far Cry. The first one kind of left me cold. Far Cry 3 was one I really enjoyed, and Blood Dragon in particular was also hysterical. 4 and 5. I mean, 5 was really, very topical with regards to sort of like the insane religious cult in the Midwest. And now 6 is basically set on an island that's inspired by Cuba. And you play a revolutionary, you play as a man or a woman, which is great. As it should be in these sort of games, you should give people gender choice. They should, if they're going to see themselves on screen, and you can do it in a way where you can let them create their own character and, watch them deliver lines and follow storylines. Great. I'm all for it. I think it should be in every freaking game whenever possible. And yeah, it looks great. I mean, look, it's coming out at the end of this year. Sign me the fuck up. Take my money right now. I can't wait to see it playing on this PC. I think it's going to be absolutely super. Is it going to be anything new? This is me not holding my breath. It's going much like Assassin's Creed, where Assassin's Creed is the most Assassin's Creed ever. You could say Far Cry is going to Far Cry like no other Far Cry's Far Cry before. And that is the Ubisoft model. Lather, rinse, slightly upgrade, repeat, make it prettier, move to a different location. And I'm down. I'm down with it. It's funny. The one thing I don't like doing in both Assassin's Creed and the Far Cry games now, which originally I had no problem with, is slaughtering animals. Where you have to skin all these animals, and then you to make pelts, and pelts make things, and this, that, and the other. And it's really bizarre, especially as they get, it's pretty graphic now. And the older I get, I'm an animal lover, as you know. Got the small dog, got the cats. We've had so many cats together, over the lifespan. And it feels superfluous, and I hope that's out of it. And I know it's just a minor point, it's just a minor bugbear that just gets on my nerves. But apart from that, it's got great looking weapons. It's got great looking cars. I mean, obviously, anybody who's seen documentaries on Cuba and their classic cars that they have are so well maintained, because, of course, for the longest time, they weren't getting new cars in. Stuff was not being, it was all cars from the 50s, 60s, etc., that were being retooled and polished and preserved and restored. and they really are amazing looking. So being able to drive some of those is going to be great. Weaponry, you can't go wrong with that. The idea of sneaking around an island, taking out a bad guy, the always amazing Giancarlo Esposito, who was in The Mandalorian, waving his fantastic darksaber around. So yeah, I'm not holding my breath for anything new, but I don't need it, to be honest with you. I'm happy to get back into Far Cry. I mean, unfortunately, I had Far Cry 5 and I completed it, but it was attached to a different UB.com account that's now defunct, so I lost all those, that game and a bunch of other ones. So I actually have it on watch list, so the next time it goes on sale on Steam or something, I'm going to go buy it, because it's a great game. The follow-up, the sort of like co-op one with the twin sisters thing, that just, yeah, that kind of left me cold. Played it for a bit, but it kind of bored me. So yes, Far Cry 6, love it, love it, love it. I'm in. How would you feel about it? Does everybody think that it looks good? As always, if you're watching, say hi in the chat room, because we're a friendly bunch here. Next game we're going to talk about that they dropped some serious footage of yesterday is Horizon Forbidden West, which is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. And I'm sure it's the first, the first two games in a quadrilogy where we're going to have Horizon the Naughty North and Horizon the Sexy South. And anybody who's a fan of Adam and the Ants from the 80s will know exactly what that song, where those lyrics are from. Answers in the chat room for a big thumbs up from me and a shout out. But yeah, it looks great. Again, I really loved Zero Dawn, so much so, one of the ones that when it first came out, I bought it day one on the PlayStation 4. I was still in recovery after the heart attack, and I spent days and days exploring that world, getting to know the character, the mech dinosaur type hybrids, the puzzle solving, the combat was great. The story was fantastic, as was the voice acting. And I fully expect that the sequel, Forbidden West, is going to be more of the same. I mean, it looks great. Obviously, they've been showing 4K PS5 footage, sorry. Because it's something they hope to be a console seller. And it's going to be, I've got no quibbles at all. I mean, I think it's going to be amazing. What do you think? Are you looking forward to it? And it's lovely to see, obviously, when you're still in the start. I mean, we're in the first 8 months of, the new console rollouts. It's nice to see these games come out. And this is where Sony has obviously been dropping more and more exclusives than perhaps Microsoft have with their new console. And that leads me on to, bizarrely enough, the big topic this week that kind of kicked off after a couple of innocuous-ish tweets from a couple of journalists or people from media outlets, whatever you want to call them, where they said that the PS5 is great for exclusives, but if you want variety, you've got to go with the Xbox because of the Xbox Games Pass and various other things. And a lot of people went bananas over that. A lot of people took that as an insult to Sony. And Nathan Grayson on Kotaku wrote a very interesting and a very accurate column yesterday about exactly this. Because obviously it's popped up. People are like, oh, you hate Sony. Well, how much did Microsoft pay for you to do this? You're a bunch of shills, blah, 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 blah. But when you take away the hyperbole, when you take away the fanboy wars, they have a point. Now, obviously, I don't have a PS5 or the new Xbox. I have the PC. We know they're hard to come by. But if you look at the games that are on PlayStation, and there are a few, there's a good few games out there. Not the biggest, shall we say, selection. In fact, let me just go back up. Where is it? You still don't need a PlayStation 5. Yeah, if you look at some of the games, I mean, obviously they got Miles Morales, they got Returnal, they've got Horizon, Wicked Witch of the West. There's Ratchet and Clank's coming. Demon Souls is out there. Not really much else. And before you say, oh, but they've got much better quality PS5 stuff than Microsoft has on their new console, I'm not quibbling that. I'm not quibbling that the exclusives that they have, while being few and far between. And if you think I'm missing some PS5 games, please drop them in. I'm talking about exclusives, PlayStation exclusives. Drop them in the chat room and we'll go over it. But if you have an Xbox, you have access to a much bigger variety of product thanks to the Games Pass. You have a lot of other stuff. And this is the funny thing. I looked at the tweet and I looked at the quotes and I'm like, I can see both sides of this conversation. And then I said to myself, well, of course, I don't need an Xbox because I've got my gaming PC, and a lot of the games that are available on Xbox become available on the PC. And so that's why if I was going to buy a console tomorrow, I would get a PS5 just for those exclusives. But I would be disappointed once I finish those exclusives because there's not much else. Now, I know this is so what's your point? My point is people need to calm the fuck down. People need to chill. We're just about to hit E3. There'll be more announcements. More games will come out. Sony said that this is the most exciting launch lineup ever. And it just, that, to be honest with you, shows how bad some of the launch lineups have been over the years. But because of the pandemic, the launch titles and the exclusives for these consoles, they've all been knocked from pillar to post. We should have had Far Cry by now, which would have been playable on all those consoles and would have been fun. There are a bunch of games that have been delayed. And I'm just saying, calm down, people. Just because somebody says something that, oh, your console is better for exclusives than than another, but the other one's got way more content, it's not an insult. It's a fact. It is a fact. Hello, Rusted Bird. How are you? Thank you for joining. So yeah, I will get a PlayStation. As I said this, I'll get a PlayStation at some point. I'm not in a rush. I mean, I'm hoping that by the time I get my PlayStation, whether it be the end of this year or even the beginning of next, they have enough content that I can actually just sit in the corner here and say, all right, I'm going to plow through this game. I'm going to plow through this game. I'm going to plow through this game. The worrying thing for PlayStation is that they had the market penetration. They had the big lead up and the in-demand console when they launched. Microsoft have sort of like done, well, we've got the Games Pass and we've got these games and you've got to play these games and you pay X amount a month and you can access all these games and it also works on PC. And they've been going. In the meantime, Microsoft have also been acquiring companies like crazy. We obviously know Obsidian and, of course, Bethesda. Now, Deathloop is coming out. That'll be on the PlayStation, but I guarantee you it's going to work better on the Xbox. It'll be optimized for Xbox and PC. And then we have Starfield, and then we have all these other games. And while I have said in the past that I think it would be a shame if those games didn't hit PlayStation, because they would do well on PlayStation and they would give the PlayStation gamer access to, wonderful worlds. They would make extra money. Because at the end of the day, the ports are not going to be that much different because, well, as I said before, PCs in a box. That's what they are. Microsoft, if they allow these games to be released on the PlayStation, they won't be at launch. They will be Xbox and PC at launch for probably 6 months, especially around Christmas season. So if you wanted Starfield or if you wanted Elder Scrolls or if you wanted Fallout or whatever is coming, you're going to have to get an Xbox. And that's where this stuff is going to kick in. And this is where was it 10, 14 days? When we have the Xbox Bethesda hybrid press conference, which is going to be interesting. I mean, the fact that they've merged the two now, because Bethesda used to do their own, and best turkey legs at any launch event, at any E3 event, by the way. They used to have these massive turkey legs and beer and Dodger dogs and In-N-Out and lots of other stuff. Fantastic. So if they are now, it makes sense for Microsoft to move them into one big mega presentation. That boosts up Microsoft no end. And I think Microsoft are going to unleash a lot at E3. That should have Sony worried. They're going to have some quality, but they're also going to have an awful lot of quantity. What are you going to do? Buy a game console where you can only play maybe 5 or 6 unique games? Or are you going And D. Knight Walker makes a very, very, I'm just going to put that up on the bottom there. I think Microsoft are in for a banner 6 to 8 months. And look, I'm no Microsoft fanboy. I'm no Sony fanboy. I like both. I really do. Some of my favorite games of all time are on the PlayStation. And yes, this point, I've seen this story before. First couple of years of the Sony console are not that great, but around year 3, they started making up for it. I would say PS4, consistently strong across the board. PS3, I've said this before, first couple of years, garbage, finished so strong, unlike Xbox 360, which started strong and then petered off. Xbox One, that was a kind of a console. So again, my point being is everybody just needs to calm down. Calm down, enjoy your console. And I know if you've spent $500-$600 on a console or more, if you bought it from a scalper, and I feel sorry for you if you did, then you want to justify and validate your purchase. But come on, look at some facts. Right now, Sony does X, Y, and Z well, but they're not doing it super well. Microsoft has A, B, and C, and they're doing it quite well. They're much of a muchness. Be interesting to see what happens over the next 3 to 6 weeks with all the announcements, with EA's announcement, with Ubisoft's more announcements. There's going to be great games for both consoles coming out this year. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting with regards to the exclusives. And it's going to be a hard decision for people who haven't been able to get hold of either console. Me, I'm going to sit on my PC until I can get them both. And I mean, look, with the Microsoft stuff, if it's hitting PC at the same time, I might not even get an Xbox. And again, Rusted Bird. It is it's every single cycle. Every single cycle. So yes, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what exciting PlayStation games are you looking forward to, or you have played. What about in your Xbox? Have you got something that's a must sell? I mean, the consoles sold themselves the first year. Second year is when the games have to come through. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Next up, I don't know if the footy fans are in, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Let's talk about the footy this week. Let's talk about, first of all, last Saturday, or Sunday rather, if you're a fan of the English Premier League, we had the 3-2. Exciting, where we had Liverpool, Chelsea, and Leicester City. 3 teams going for 2 spots. Leicester City were in 3rd, Liverpool were in 5th, Chelsea were in 4th. Well, as a Liverpool supporter, things went very well. We finished 3rd. We won. We beat Crystal Palace, while both Leicester and Chelsea contrived to cock it up. Chelsea finished 4th. Leicester, poor buggers, finished 5th because they managed to lose at home to Spurs, which is the most Spursy thing that Spurs can do. Shit most of the season, started off strong, shit most of the season, then go to Leicester and win by 4-2. You let Gareth Bale score twice. Look, I love Gareth Bale, but he only turns up for Wales. So that means that Liverpool and Chelsea are in the Champions League next year. Leicester have to make do with their cup win, and then in the Cup Winners' Cup. So as a Liverpool supporter, obviously I'm also very happy we've announced our first signing in the summer. The Leipzig centre-back, Ibrahima Konate, I think his name is. So yes, that's great. And then, of course, more footy. We had the UEFA Cup Final this week, where I think it was Sevilla against, what was that team? Manchester United. And look, as a Liverpool fan, I can't help but despise Manchester United. But, oh, God, I actually felt for them because they dominated that game and should have won by about 4 or 5. And to go lose on penalties with the goalkeeper missing a penalty was really quite sad. But you also got to feel great for the small team with like 20,000 capacity stadium who are now have a European trophy, which is fantastic. So that's great. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to gloat because as a Liverpool fan, I've been to we've been to those finals. We lost bigger cup finals. We lost smaller ones. That's the way footy is. But the big footy story for tomorrow is the Champions League final where Moneybags Man City are against Moneybags Chelsea. And 3 weeks ago, I would have said this could have been an evenly contested game because Manchester City had just been beaten by Chelsea, who'd also knocked them out of the cup. Chelsea were firing on all cylinders, and then Chelsea went full Chelsea. They took that new manager smell and just ran out of steam. So if Chelsea of the last 4 or 5 games turn up tomorrow, Manchester City will probably twat them by about 4. If the Chelsea of the FA Cup semi-final and the game that they met with smart, compact defending, hitting on the counter, etc., if they turn up and are disciplined, it could be interesting, but I don't think Chelsea are going to do it. And I feel sorry I got some really good friends who are Chelsea fans, but it looks like Manchester City will win tomorrow. And if not, it would also be really funny just to watch Pep fail yet again. I mean, hell, I don't want either team to win. I'm biased. And they have a long way to go before they match our 6. Thank you very much. 6 times champions. Okay, so the chat room's very quiet. Everybody's talking about the PS5 variety, this cycle. Talk to me, people. Let's go to the chat room. What's going on? Give me some comments. Let's have a little natter. You're very quiet. I'm guessing the fact that, you're probably still suffering from the whole Friends thing. That's interesting. I just realized well, there you go. The Twitch is not working. That sucks. Settings. Dashboard. Oh, hang on. Cancel. Let's see if, bear with me. Restream dashboard. Bear with me. Oh. Ha. Well, there you go. No wonder. If you remember last week, I actually turned off the Twitch stream. So I'm going to reboot the stream. Bear with me. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Boom. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Now I should be on the Twitch. So apologies to the Twitch people. You've missed half a fucking show. Doesn't look like it's coming through. Oh, well. What a palaver. No, it says that we're on Twitch, but anyway. So if you, I mean, how funny is that? I just managed to totally go through half of the show and cut out half the audience. So apologies to the Twitch people. I'm not going to redo the show. You're going to have to watch the YouTube stream. But shit, yeah, what a disaster. So, all right, no wonder it was quiet. All right, talk to me, people. If you are there, I'm going to do a very Cliff Notes version of what I've talked about. Lucifer's back on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to sit and watch. If you haven't watched Invincible on Amazon Prime, watch it. Watch the entire season. It's one of the best animated series out there. Amazing voice cast, bloody as hell, really gory, just great. Haven't watched The Bad Batch. I haven't watched The Bad Batch because I didn't watch Clone Wars or the other Star Wars animated series. Just not really my cup of tea. Friends reunion. Half of it was good. The other half, James Corden and stupid fashion shows. Could have cut that out, given people 2 hours of behind the scenes bloopers and proper interviews, and no James Corden, and it would have been great. Far Cry 6 coming out this year, set in Cuba. Looks very Far Cry. Sign me up. I'll play it on the PC. What else? Horizon Fievel Goes West. Looking forward to it. Might make me buy a PS5 at the end of the year if I can find one. And that's probably about it. I did talk about Xbox versus PS5 and this whole controversy this week, but that's as far as it goes. I'm not redoing it. Going back to TV because D. Night Walker came up with this doozy. How about that Line of Duty Series 6? So I started watching this week. Big fan of Line of Duty. And I resisted getting a VPN and being naughty and watching the overseas stream because I want to watch it and it's on BritBox and I've got a subscription and I wanted to support, those numbers to make sure that particular service keeps on going. And unfortunately, they're only releasing one episode a week. So I can't binge like I have with the other seasons. So only 2 episodes in. So if you have watched Line of Duty all the way through, like in the UK, I've got nothing but love, but shut up. So already 1 episode in, I'm like, ooh, who's the bad guy? Who's the bad girl? Is it somebody? Is there puppets, manipulation? What's going on? I do need to go back and watch Series 5 because it was such a long time between the 2 seasons that I have missed out on a few things. But yes, I am so glad that Line of Duty is back. It's the only of Duty I really wonder I enjoy anymore. Paul Burrows asks, do you think the Switch Pro will announce before E3? Let's have a look. Hang on a sec. E3. All right, hang on. Yeah, they'll look, Nintendo. So I'm looking at the sponsorship, and I actually saw this earlier this week. I got sent an email, and Xbox and Nintendo are the major sponsors of E3 this year, with Sony obviously deciding to step away. So they might have something new. Yeah, Brian Dooley. I don't know what's happened with the Twitch stream, but hey, no Twitch this week. Sorry, guys. They have the links. They can find the good stuff. Anyway, YouTube is better anyway. Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, I don't fucking care. I've got a Switch. It's sitting here. It's gathering dust. Look. There it is. Yes, with Animal Crossing. I was sucking into buying that game. Fucking Facebook game. If you are a Twitch fan, good luck. A Twitch fan and a Nintendo fan, good. I hope you get whatever you want, but I really don't see the point in that particular that particular console. It's not for me. I just don't. I've tried it. I don't like it. I don't hate it, and I don't hate anybody who loves it because it keeps a lot of people happy, and it's great and good. I've got nephews, and I'm family with them. But kind of grew out of all that stuff after, the Game Boy. I loved the Game Boy when it first came out, but, when I'm gaming, I like my big PC or my consoles. That's just the thing. Nintendo will probably announce a bunch of stuff if they do announce this, and new iterations of Mario, F-Zero, Pilot Wings, Super Smash Brothers, and a bunch of other stuff from the likes of Square Enix and Sega, etc., etc. But it leaves me cold. I mean, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about the Switch and the Switch Pro? I mean, what are they going to do to make it that much different? It's going to have an extra, God knows what. I mean, it's kind of limited in what it can do anyway. D-Nut Walker, going back to Line of Duty, was a little disappointed by episode 1. Kind of lackluster ending for the episode. Yeah, look, I mean, that one's, for me, it's part of the tease. It got what the fuck's going on, who's the bad person? Because normally you can tell whoever the big guest star is, they're generally going to be the big bad for the season. But I don't really know this time. I don't know if the wee Scottish lassie who was in Trainspotting, Kelly Thingy, she was in Trainspotting, and she was in Boardwalk Empire and a bunch of other stuff. She's great. Yeah, I don't know. But we will have discussions moving forward. We will discuss these things moving forward. So I have already run through so much of what I wanted to talk about. And I'll tell you now that it's a quiet week. I mean, I did a live stream for the Patreon subscribers earlier this week, and we had there's a good chat. I had a bunch of questions, and in fact, I think I'm going to piggyback on some of those questions because they were really good from regular viewer and supporter Matt E. And he asked me some questions, and I think I'm going to tackle them now because, again, it's quiet. It is quiet time. Yes, we had Nintendo, we had Sony's Let's Play yesterday, and we had, we had the Far Cry reveal, but it is really, really quiet. By the way, Mass Effect. Mass Effect. I'm playing through 2 now, and I gotta say, it's such a more meaty game with all the DLC and being able to access that and the different characters. And yeah, I'm like, well, this is end of week 2 of playing this game, because it came out 2 weeks ago today, and I'm probably about 2/3 of the way through Mass Effect 2. It's taking me much longer than it did with ME1 because there's so much more exploring to do, and I want to make sure I've got every single thing nailed down before I move to Mass Effect 3, because I can't see myself playing this through again, from 1 to 3 anytime in the not too distant. It's going to be a few years before I revisit that one. So so it has been quiet. It's been quiet, but it's only going to get busier from here, and I will be doing E3 streams. I might even do one a day, going through various bits and bobs. I know there's going to be a lot of people doing the same thing, but let's face it, I know more than everybody else. This is where you need to come. I kid. There's a lot of great people out there. I've turned into this nice person. What the fuck happened to me? Okay. Are there any comic books I would recommend? These are the questions. Hi, Stage Select. Welcome to the party. Comic books I would recommend. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, their Batman stuff. Long Halloween. Fantastic. Watchmen. Great. Fable. The Fable series. It's where the game The Wolf Within came from. Read that. That's a great, creative, and occasionally fucked up take on, if fairy tale characters were real, like Snow White, Seven Dwarfs, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and various other characters. I went through and I bought like 8 books in a row, and I just tore through them, and they're just so great. And then, look, if you are a comic book fan, I recommend, obviously, there's Comixology, I think, is one of those sites that do digital comics, but Marvel Unlimited and the DC equivalent, $6-7 a month. So many comics on there. If you are going on a vacation and you have an iPad, a subscription to one of them, download a whole bunch if you don't have a Wi-Fi signal, and just go fucking nuts. You could literally run through. I went through all the Punisher runs from the very first iteration all the way up to the most recent iteration of Punisher, and absolutely loved it. I read some classic stuff from the 60s and how, Jesus, that's dated. Art style and story-wise in particular. They created amazing characters, but the storyline was nowhere near as perhaps in-depth or impactful. And, again, some of the ways that characters were treated was a little bit sign of the times, because that's the thing. Things that are done in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. are time capsules. They're examples of the time, and you cannot go back and criticize them for being signs of the time. All you can do is acknowledge that we have moved on. And if you feel a discomfort watching that stuff, that's a good thing. A little bit of discomfort is, I'm glad we don't do that anymore. We're doing something better, but you can still enjoy it. Friends TV show, prime example. A lot of people saying there weren't as many diverse characters on there that there should be. And there was fat shaming. And then there was the gay jokes or the trans jokes. And again, it's indicative of the time and where we were as a society. And we learn from these mistakes and we move on. But having to apologize for what was the norm then, that's an awful lot of people apologizing and continually apologizing. You acknowledge it, you move on. We're not talking about anything super egregious. We're also talking about a TV show that had a lesbian couple front and center from get-go day one, and the first, I think, lesbian wedding on TV. And they had other characters, and they did move things on. And yes, it was ham-fisted in a lot of ways, but that was a sign of the times. So anyway, going back to comic books. Look at some of the old stuff. It's mind-boggling. All right, next question. Do you like physical media over digital, i.e. games, comic books, etc.? Now, this is one I had a lot of fun with when I did the Patreon stream. And I have a swath of comic books, Blu-rays, DVDs, Xbox games, PlayStation. I love physical media. I don't have space for physical media anymore. I mean, my games room, I need a games barn, to be honest with you. So much so that I actually have stopped buying a lot of things. If I buy a comic book or a graphic novel, actually, I'll show you some of the things I've got recently that actually are exceptions to the rule. For example, this there's no point buying this digital. This has got some heft to it. It's gorgeous. It's got some amazing artwork. It's full of stories, which you see on the digital versions, but it's not quite the same. I also like to support our local bookstore, which is called Romans, which is a small independent bookstore, been around for like 100 years. And so I go and buy a book every now and again. And I'm also a sucker, an absolute sucker. D. Night Walker, I'll answer that one in a minute. I'm an absolute sucker for behind-the-scenes stuff, like the Ghostbusters thing, or this one. This is the other one I'm reading right now. One of my favorite movies. And this talks about how the movie was made and everything they went through in the casting process and the issues they had with advisors. And that to me is just fascinating, learning about how my favorite bits of entertainment are made. That's why when somebody does a deep dive on a dev studio behind Mass Effect or behind the first Call of Duty or something seminal, I love to learn that thought process because it's something I've not been a part of, or it's something that's given me a lot of joy. And I recommend always supporting small bookstores and always supporting artists. So yeah, those things I do buy physically. Collectibles like toys, Funkos, obviously you have to get those. Movies, the last movie I bought physical was Avengers Endgame because I wanted to complete that entire run of Marvel movies, all the movies up to the end of phase 3. Ever since then, I've started buying digital. And it's funny because there's a lot of stuff on digital now that it's like the third or fourth iteration. I bought on VHS, then DVD, then Blu-ray, and now I'm buying digital. And again, it's a space thing. And as I get older, I'm a lazy bastard. The fact that I can click on my Apple TV and go to my library selection and see 70 or 80 movies that I've got. Some of them have been digital codes that from the Blu-rays that I've entered, but I scour the sales. I buy a movie every now and again. I do like that I've got classic movies on Blu-ray or DVD because if the cloud ever goes kaput, which, let's face it, losing movies will be the least of our worries because there's probably something crazy going on. I can still hook a generator or a solar panel up to a TV and a DVD player, and I can watch my shit. I could be entertained, as the same with the books and the comic books. That's just the way it is. So, so age and laziness and lack of space have converted me to a digital person. What's your preference? Do you prefer the going out and buying the disc? I mean, this PC is I now have PCs, which is an unthinkable. A decade ago, I have PCs without CD-ROM drives. There's USB drives, and that's it. No CD-ROM. And I remember the first time I bought a PC without a floppy disk. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I have a CD-ROM drive, but what am I going to do with all my floppy disks? And remember floppy disks? They were very floppy, not the smaller ones anyway. D.I. Walker, have I given manga a chance? Have I given manga a chance? Oh my goodness. I was watching manga, let me see, 30 years ago, or about 28 years ago, when manga launched in the UK. I worked at a game store. We started to stock the videos. And so I watched Ghost in the Shell and Akira and my personal what the fuck am I watching? Legend of the Overfiend, or as I like to mangle the pronunciation, Rutsusuka Doji. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I've incorrectly pronounced it, somebody type it out phonetically for me. Legend of the Overfiend. Alien tentacle sex. What? Freak me the hell out. So yes, I'm very familiar with manga. And I actually went then in the mid-90s, I did a spot working for a video CD company where we had a lot of the manga stuff. So on video CD, this was when, video CDs are going to be the next thing. Not DVDs, not Blu-rays, video CDs that you could play on your computer on your Philips CDI. You remember CDIs? Oh my God. We'll come like this. Wow. Technology's changed a lot. So yes, I'm very familiar. I mean, look, I don't watch it now. I watched that original stuff. It was action packed, great stories. Some of it subtitled, some of it dubbed. No, I just can't. I mean, there's a lot of cutesy stuff there, and it's just not. Again, you grow out of things. But I would watch Ghost in the Shell in a heartbeat, or Akira, or Alita Battle Angel, or Legend of the Overfiend. Maybe I'll even watch that one again, because they were fun, crazy fucking movies. Mark Griffiths, welcome. We've already talked about Liverpool. Third place, my friend. Yeah. And Kanate signed today. Great. Yeah, so that's my quest. That's my answer to manga. I have given manga a chance. And I've given manga lots of chances over the years. And, again, tastes change. I mean, I think the art style actually does kind of leave me cold now, because I know there's been a lot of anime or manga style superhero cartoons like Batman and Superman, and whether they be the graphic novels or the actual cartoons, that style just leaves me cold now. It really does. And look, I can appreciate the skill behind any artist's work, because they have a talent I could never reach to in a billion years. My limits of drawing. I could draw a bath and I can draw the curtains, and that's it. And that's old terminology if you draw somebody a bath. But yeah, the art style just leaves me cold. It's just, it lacks, it has a sameness feel to it. It does seem to have a sameness feel, just to my eyes, but it is what it is. So yes, that's my answer to manga or anime, however you look at it. Stage Select says, I just bought my 4K TV. You show off. I want to get a 4K so bad. Maybe after this pandemic's over and, we're earning money again. Yes, I'm looking forward to getting a 4K TV with 4K streaming and an internet system that works, that can actually handle it. That's great. We've got a nice surround sound system. Those things are fun as well. And this is honestly one of the things that's keeping me from going back to the movies. It's going to be a while before I go back. I think that probably the first movie I'll go back to see will be the Bond film, Another Day to Die, or Diet Another Day, or whatever the hell it is, because it's going to be Craig's last one. And I'm a Bond sucker. What can I say? That'll be the first one I'll probably watch if I cannot get it on streaming. Who knows? Maybe Amazon will have it on streaming for a fee, because they just bought MGM. And MGM and Sony control Bond. Exciting. So, Mark, yes. Not streaming on Twitch. There was a technical issue, as in I was an idiot. After last week's Twitch stream was disabled, I didn't re-enable it today, so I'll be back on Twitch and everything else next week. So today, it's just YouTube. I tried rebooting. It didn't happen. It's not happy, so I just got to do what I got to do. So I'll put the link out there, because, I have a Twitch. But, hey, YouTube, everything's on YouTube. So there you go. More questions. The D-Night Walker, the Demon Slayer anime is really good. Okay, give it a chance after all. All right, maybe I'll have a look at that. I just got a lot of other things to watch. Besides games, is there anything I collect? And yes, I like my toys. I like my tchotchkes. It's not that I was a neglected child when it came to toys and everything. Far from it. But when it came to the sort of collectibles that I wanted and stuff, they were quite expensive at the time. And, working class family, you can always not get what you want, which is one of the reasons I have my Star Wars and Doctor Who stuff. And I always collect those and the Funkos and things like the lightsaber and the artwork that you see behind you. I love my pop culture stuff. And, I don't have a kid. I am the kid, and at some point I'll leave this to somebody, my nephews, my niece, if they want this sort of stuff. Donate some of it, because some of it's really cool. So that's the stuff I collect. That stuff is what I enjoy, and my tiki mugs. Hang on. So I think I've shown these before, and I think I've told the story before, but the tiki mugs is a new thing. was in Palm Springs a couple of years ago with the wife. We went to a tiki bar and they had Star Wars tiki cups, tiki mugs. And we bought a couple. It was C-3PO and Greedo. And tikis are fantastic cocktails, by the way. Perfect summer ones. And then we started collecting more and more. And we've got about 15 so far. The most recent being Mando and Grogut. And, of course, the Star Wars Celebration limited edition, 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. And then this is the next one we're going to get, by the way. But again, these are all boxed and in their cases to keep them safe because I have nowhere to put them right now. And again, someday I will have a bigger house with a bigger games room and I will have a bar. And that bar will have all these mugs out. And I might even let people drink from them. Because that's what I do. Mark Griffiths asks, I've already discussed Far Cry. It will be on the, when you can come back to the YouTube stream later when it populates to the YouTube page. And yes, talked about it. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, what can I say? I'm a Far Cry sucker. I do like the look of it. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Let's see how that one goes. Okay. So, been going almost an hour. Anybody have any more questions? Anybody else want to talk about stuff? I know it sucks that the Twitch people all lost out on that first half, and I'm very sorry. It will not happen again, but you can watch the YouTube feed because it's for YouTube. Anyway, so I'm going to keep it under an hour today because this is why I need to be under an hour, leave more content. There will be more content coming soon. I mean, obviously next week will be the weekend before E3 and more stuff will have dropped. We can talk about bits and bobs. We'll even know maybe exactly how E3 is going to work. And I will share my plans with regards to live streaming after every day of E3, discussing various other things, which, it's going to be nice that E3 this year involves me sitting on my ass doing nothing other than watching TV, as opposed to years past when I've walked like 14, 15 miles a day around the convention center. Who knows? By next year, when E3 2022 is back, if it comes back at all, because let's face it, it's not exactly odds on that it will happen ever again, because it was in a shit state beforehand. But maybe then I will see it, or maybe I'll just go and hang out with Michael Pachter because I miss him. It's been 2 years since I've seen Pac. That's sad. I miss that guy. We talk on text, talk on phone calls, but I miss him, and he's like one of the high pointers, along with a lot of other really amazing friends who I get to see at E3. And those are the people I miss the most. I do miss the hugs. I like to hug. I'm vaccinated, so I can hug now, providing you're vaccinated. Pavel, speaking of 20th, I haven't seen Cowboy Bebop. I haven't. Can't say I have. Sorry. Hello, Ranting Greek Gamer. My thoughts on not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's Horizon 5 Will Goes West. The Wicked Witch of the West. Untold West. Naughty West. Whatever the hell it is. Yes, I've talked about it. I'm not going back over it. And I'll tell you why. Because it's just not fair on everybody else. But if you go to the YouTube page, you will see that I talk about this and Far Cry and a couple of other things in the first half hour of that stream, and it's well worth a good watch. That's what I say. I'm biased. What can I say? We're up to 19 people. I guess everybody's realized that the fucking Twitch stream wasn't going to happen today. Technology and old people do not mix. I'm old enough to have an AARP card, and I'm going to apply for it. I want my discounts and my early bird specials. Ranting Greek Gamer, never apologize. You're good. All good. We're good. All right. So, going to wind this down. Please go back, check out the YouTube feed from today's show. So, if you missed that first half, apologies again for my cock up. Next week's going to be a fun show. We'll talk about the E3 stuff. We will talk about everything that we're excited to see, hope to see, and why aren't we seeing. Bring your questions. Bring what you want to see. Send me the info in the comments section here on Facebook. On YouTube, on Twitter, and we'll take it from there. I'll have a bumper show next week. It'll be fun. Thank you. As always, thank you for your follows on Twitch and on Twitter and on YouTube. Check out the Patreon if you want. By next week, I should actually have my own mug. It'll be here. So I show that off. Take a look. If you want to toss a couple of bucks my way every month, that would be wonderful. If not, totally understand. Thank you again, as always, to the Twitch, the Patreon supporters. I hope you enjoyed the live stream earlier this week. I'll do another one directly after E3 just for you guys. Champions League final prediction. I did talk about this earlier. I think if it goes to form, Manchester City will probably twat Chelsea. That's just the way it is. But it could also be shades of Istanbul in 2005 for the Chelsea guys, where they turn up in lousy form, having scraped into the top four, and mug Manchester City. Just depends which City side turns up and which Chelsea side. I'll be watching. I will be cheering for neither side because I don't like Abramovich. I like Tuchel and his a lot of his players, Pulisic and a couple of others. There's no wankers in that team. It's actually good. And then there's the Man City stuff. I got nothing against Pep, but I'd love to see him go and manage a third division side on a shoestring just to see how he does. Because he hasn't done that yet. And yeah, I'm sorry, I don't like Raheem Sterling. Nothing against him, but I just don't like the way he engineered his move from Liverpool. Kevin De Bruyne's too ginger. Daywalker, amazing player, amazing. Fernandinho is the only asshole left, I think, in Man City. Just don't like him. Don't like him at all. And I just, prawn sandwich merchants, they'll be insufferable if they win tomorrow. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give me a subscribe. Give me on YouTube or a follow on Twitter or whatever. And we will talk next week. Stay frosty. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. It's a long weekend here in the US, Memorial Day weekend. We'll be grilling out, I think. I might even put shorts on, which will not be on a live stream because nobody deserves to see that.